Hi everybody! This is part 2 of Power Scaling Luffy. So if you haven't seen part 1, as well as Zoro and Sanji's power scaling videos, I would suggest to watch it first so you'd get an idea how I got my conclusion. Also, this video will contain clips from the anime, so if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest that you do, and then come back to see this video, especially for the theory later on. And now, we pick up right where we left off yesterday and dive right into Luffy versus Kaido. This is the first one arc episode that I've seen on the anime, and I just wanted to say, the animation is fantastic and the animators really outdid themselves. It was so smooth and super high quality. I do feel like it was a bit prolonged and was quite different from what you see on the manga. But anyway, I stopped watching the anime a few years back because I wanted to watch a series continuously without any interruptions at all. But when I saw this, because I had to get a few clips from the anime, man, I'm so tempted to jump to the episode from Alabasta arc to Wano arc. Before I get any more ideas, let's move on. Kaido was drunk AF and was looking for Luffy and Law. Hawkins points Kaido to Oden Castle, and Kaido fires his blast breath. This angers Luffy because his crew and his allies were put in danger, and we get an amazing taste of how the final showdown in Wano will go. This fight was so well made in the anime, it's a must-watch. And here, we were able to see the gap between Luffy and Kaido, or a Yonkou and a Yonkou commander. After beating Katakuri, in my mind, Luffy was truly at a Yonkou commander's level, and I was so hyped to see how Luffy stacked up against an actual Yonkou. And until I read this chapter in the manga a few days after it came out, I did expect Luffy to put up quite a fight. But really, man, I didn't expect Kaido to one-shot him. But analyzing the fight, Luffy was so enraged that he didn't seem to use his future sight haki. I know he just learned it, so in my opinion, he won't be masterful at using it yet. It's like learning how to move, right? You learn to crawl first, then you wobble, then you walk, and then you learn how to run. Until you're able to run for a kilometer, and then for a mile, and then for a marathon, and so on. Now, through Luffy's rage, he attacks Kaido with his elephant gun. And even though Kaido was so drunk, he gets back up like nothing happened. And then he asks Luffy to identify himself. And in Luffy fashion, he straight up tells Kaido his name, and that he'll be the Pirate King. Then, Kaido straight up fires another blast breath, and then Luffy hits Kaido with an elephant Gatling. Kaido seemed to take some damage and goes back to his human form. Luffy was so relentless, Kaido just stood up and Luffy was already attacking him in his bounce man form. Kaido just mans up and takes the Kong organ head on. Kaido stands back up again and hits Luffy with his Thunder Bagua. And the fight ends there. LOL. It's quite different in the anime though, but we did see Law trying to stop and calm Luffy down during the whole fight. But Luffy just chose to continue the fight and gets one-shotted. With this we can tell the gap in power is too large, and as of now, I'm not sure how Luffy will defeat Kaido. I'm not even willing to say that it's going to be a one-on-one. But anyway, after the fight, Kaido mentions that Luffy was still glaring at him, even though he was unconscious. And when Kaido's men were about to take Luffy to the prison, Luffy fires his Conqueror's Haki. Luffy's will is really strong and is part of the reason why he's so tenacious, and he will undoubtedly keep on getting stronger. I think it's safe to say that most of One Piece fans agree that Luffy is at a Yonkou commander's level right now. But you have to ask yourself the question, is Rio or Ryuo and Future Sight Haki enough to beat Kaido? I have two guesses or theories that could answer this question. The first being that Luffy will fight Kaido alongside Kid and possibly other allies like the Scabbards, Law, Zoro, Marco and the remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates, and a wild card, the Marines. We all know that it's going to be chaotic if Big Mom's crew joins in the fun. And it will definitely put Law, Kid, and Luffy, the Scabbards, and the rest of the allied forces in a bad position. Even if the Straw Hat allies from the other parts of the New World come to Wano and join the fight, I still think that they would be at a disadvantage. But I'm sure that Oda will write out a plot twist, something in the lines of the Marines will join the fight, or some rebellious characters in Kaido's crew will join the allied forces. You know, characters like Who's Who, the other captains of the Tobiropo, and most likely, Hawkins. I do believe that this theory is more likely than the latter one because of how strong Kaido really is. He has a reputation for being a beast in one-on-one fights, and I do feel like Luffy would need some help with Kaido. And this was foreshadowed by Zoro's statements when they were facing Appu on the latest chapter of the manga. But the other theory or guess that I came up with is that with the mastery of Rio or Ryuo, Luffy will unlock a new level and unleash Gear 5. Mastering the flow of Haki around Luffy's body may make it possible for Luffy, as a rubber man, to bend his body to his will. It should be different from Katakuri, where he acted like a Logia and opened up holes on his body. But Luffy could bend his body to his will by applying a concentrated flow of Haki to bend it or deform it for a little while using the elasticity of rubber to make stronger attacks and defenses. It could look like the Kage Kakume or the Shadow Revolution by Gecko Moria, but you never know. We're talking about Oda's genius here. Anyway, to build on to that, it's sort of like a stronger and combined Tank and Bounce Man, but Luffy could reshape himself. It will be different from Tank Man, because in Tank Man, a force needs to be applied first before being able to bend and absorb the impact. Just like the time when Cracker attacked Luffy, Luffy absorbed him and shot him back out. But with this theoretical Gear 5, Luffy just needs to make his surrounding Haki flow into an area and bend his body how he likes it. So if he is being attacked, he can bend his body with a lot of Haki in an area so that it gets protected, and then he can bounce it back because he's made of rubber. So this will double Luffy's durability because it decreases the impact. Unlike Tankman, you just absorb the impact with the help of Haki, and because you're rubber, it's like you're jumping back while being punched. You're effectively lessening the impact. Now, when attacking, it will be very similar to Bounce Man because Luffy will be using his Haki to amplify the elasticity, but there's no wasted Haki surrounding Luffy's body. So it's very similar to Bounce Man because it's already doing that. With Gear 5 though, it's just much better and more efficient. But when moving around, Luffy can voluntarily deform his body with the use of flow, and this will generate more power, making Luffy much faster. I know that this is just a theory, but it's so fun to speculate. In any case, if Luffy does have Gear 5, it seems almost certain that this will have Rio or Ryuo incorporated in it. Moving on now, I have some friends thinking that Luffy could possibly awaken his Devil Fruit, and this will make way to Luffy unlocking his 5th gear. But I do think that with the way things are going, this would be very unlikely. But you never know. Oda is a masterful storyteller and researches a lot of stuff, and then he adds the things he learns to the story. Anyway, to wrap things up, I do believe that as it stands, Luffy is at a Yonkou commander's level right now and is definitely the strongest Straw Hat in my opinion. I'm sure he will continue to shock us because of the massive growth he's gotten during his training. Do I think that he's Yonkou level? No, not yet. And I feel like there is a sizable gap in strength. I mean, Luffy and Kaido have a difference of 3 billion belly in their bounties. To put this into perspective, there are a lot of pirates in the One Piece world, and most of them have a bounty lower than 500 million. Because at this point, your bounty's growth slows down. Before making this video, the difference in bounty seemed very small to me. I thought for a while that it's only 3 billion belly more, but it's 3 times the size of Luffy's bounty. And you may compare it to Luffy fighting 3 categories at a time. So yes, I do feel that Luffy is still a bit far from Yonkou level and is definitely well above Yonkou commander level right now. For Zoro, I feel like with Enma, he will learn to master his haki even more. We have yet to see him use Ryo or Ryuo, and we don't know what it looks like exactly when used with a slash. But it may give Zoro added range, and not to mention, more power. Remember Zoro fighting Pika? He might not need Admiral or Lumbus to throw him to reach Pika at the time. We might be talking about that level of range. Godly range. And interestingly, I think that after strengthening his haki with Enma, and then mastering Ryo or Ryuo like a samurai, I feel like this will be the time that Zoro's blade becomes black. Anyway, right now, I feel like Zoro is arguably the second strongest Straw Hat and is at a Yonkou commander's level, but right now, below Katakuri's level. In Sanji's case, it's a bit hard to get an accurate assessment of him, especially with the addition of the raid suit. His power jumps right up, and I do think he's going to be able to challenge Zoro and Jinbei for the second strongest Straw Hat. He's going to be faster, more agile, stronger, and more durable than what he was without the raid suit. This propels Sanji to Yonkou commander level. Because as we saw, page 1 was just too easy. But right now, since we have not confirmed this, we can't say for certain. So, we'll stick to what's most probable. Sanji is surely above Tobiropo level by more than just a few miles. Clearly, hands down. And with this, we will end the video. Hope you guys had fun in the power scaling series and are just as hyped as I am for the coming chapter of One Piece this week. Woo! Please do leave a like on this video. Comment below what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear them. And if you love One Piece, subscribe to the channel because I'll be uploading a new video by Friday. And it's going to be light and fun. Now guys, stay safe, protect yourself, boost your immune system. Peace!